I'm gonna carve a sculpture for $100, $1,000, and $10,000. Let's get right into the $100 sculpture. This is a piece of old-growth Redwood Burl, the same piece of wood I used to carve my first life-size T-Rex skull a couple of years ago. I always save all of my offcuts for situations just like this. I'm gonna carve 3 foxes, and each variation is gonna be at a price point that I feel they are valued at. Now, this is a complete biased opinion, so don't go all crazy in the comments, because this is how I feel these should be priced and valued at. For almost all my sculptures, I hire a 3D graphic artist to do a full rendering of the sculpture I'm attempting. And I always hire Laura here, who does a fantastic job at getting every single angle I need to use as reference images for these sculptures. Now that I have my block of redwood ready and the profile of the fox traced out, there's nothing left to do but get carving. This $100 one is really hard for me. It's hard to not try and refine the shape and add more details. I have to remember that this is valued at $100 and I can't spend all week on it, even though that's exactly what I want to do. I'm actually really liking just the simplicity of this shape and the smooth, clean lines. I really like this little guy. This little guy doesn't stand very well on its own, so I need to make a quick little pedestal, and I found this amazing piece of oak to use, and I just really like the contrasting colors this gives with the redwood. And just like that, I'm finished with a $100 sculpture, and I'm really happy with how this thing turned out. Check it out for yourself. I love this little sculpture. I'm so happy with how it turned out. And if I were to see this thing at a store, I would pay $100 for this. I spent around 8 hours of work on this, not to mention the material costs. Comes to about $10.60 per hour. So would I ever sell this for $100? Probably not. I would much rather keep this and have this forever than sell it for $100. But that does go to show you, support your local carvers, because any little sculpture like this that's sanded is a tremendous amount of work, and they're making barely anything off the top of that. So hold on. Support your local wood carvers. Thank you. Now let's get to the $1,000 sculpture. For this $1,000 sculpture, I'm going to attempt my very first semi-abstract version of a fox. I'm using black limba. Funny enough, extra wood from my second ever life-size T-Rex carving. This wood just has some amazing end grain patterns that I think would look really cool in this fox sculpture. I also want to up the ante by attempting a maple inlay to account for the white fur on the fox's face and tail. This inlay is inspired by a woodcarver I follow on Instagram, Sam Belugan, something like that. Sorry, Sam. He does amazing wood glue ups using different species of wood to portray the animal's color patterns. I absolutely love his work, and if you're over on Instagram, give Sam a follow. And while you're at it, if you want up-to-date info and more behind-the-scenes builds, give me a follow as well at BM Sculptures. I'm just having a blast carving this thing. I've never carved an abstract sculpture before. This fox isn't gonna have legs. It's not gonna have arms. It's just gonna kind of be the tail swooping up in this kind of organic form. And in doing so, I just get to carve. And I'm not really thinking of anything, not really looking at templates, which is really nice for once. I'm just kind of picturing something in my mind and carving off that, which just makes this really fun. And now comes the challenging part. I'm gonna do an inlay of maple. And in order to do that, I need to match both pieces of wood absolutely perfectly. And that means this little piece under the chin here has to be perfectly flat across this whole side, which is extremely difficult to do. I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never done a multiple species matchup like this, and to get a curved angle seamlessly join on two species of wood is extremely hard. And I have no idea how Sam does it. So Sam, if you're watching this video, let me know how you do it. I would love to know how you get these perfect seams, because the only way I know how to do this is to just take off a little material at a time. I'm using graphite paper, rubbing it in between the two pieces of wood. That way I could see the high spots to then file down very slowly. If any of you guys know how to do this better than this, let me know. I would love to know. Just in case I don't have a perfect seam line between the two pieces of wood, I'm mixing up a ton of sawdust with wood glue. That way it can hopefully hide any gaps in this seam. This second inlay here was super easy. It was a completely flat surface, making it just as simple as it gets to match up these two pieces of wood. Hey guys, since I began YouTube over 7 years ago, I've had a goal of reaching 1 million subscribers. I am so close to that right now. So if you like this video and you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. Thanks, guys. Carving wood is not only physically demanding, but also very, very messy. Sawdust gets absolutely everywhere, and I'm jealous of other artists and professions that get to come home or get in their car without even doing the leaf blower cleanse. Now that the sculpture's pretty much done, it's time to start working on the pedestal. And this pedestal is a necessity for this one because it stands it upright and gives it the support and height that it needs. Okay, hold up. Do not try this at home. This is probably a really stupid cut. Actually, I know this is a stupid cut. And if you can't watch graphic stuff, I would suggest you skip this part. That was a close one. For a minute, I thought I lost this finger here, but luckily it was just right here. Alright, now all I have to do is put some finish on this pedestal and then we are finished. Here is the $1,000 sculpture. I don't like it. If I saw this at a store, I would not pay $1,000 for it. And that's not to say anything bad against the actual execution of this piece. The pedestal is great. The inlays are seamless. I'm super happy with how those turned out. And, you know, I think I did a good job on the actual carving. For me, I am not an abstract guy. I don't like the design. I really don't like it. I'm glad I gave it a shot, but I would not pay $1,000 for this. And I'm hoping this next one is truly worth $10,000 because that is a lot of money. And clients that pay that kind of money expect exquisite things, not something like this. Let's get to that one. This may look like an ordinary chunk of wood, but there's something special hidden behind the outside layer of this grime. For a $10,000 sculpture, I know I need to start with a premium product. This is a chunk of Redwood Lace Burl. I sourced it from a wood dealer that sells small slabs of these for hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to guitar and knife makers all over the world. My wife watches these videos, so I'm not going to tell you the exact price I paid for that chunk of wood, but let's just say it took a substantial chunk off that $10,000 price tag. When evaluating a piece of artwork, the material it's made out of really matters. That's why for almost all of my sculptures, I try and use the best material possible. I've been hoarding this piece of redwood for a very long time, and I think a fox is the perfect animal to carve from it. This wood has a couple knots just filled with dirt that I... Hello? Stupid spam. If you've ever wondered how spam callers know so much about you, it's because data brokers are collecting and selling your personal information without your consent. That's where today's sponsor, Incogni, comes in. Incogni is a fully automated service that tracks down and removes your data from hundreds of these websites. Right now, my wife and I are actually going through a mortgage pre-approval process. That's where they do the hard check on all your credit and all that. And there's a lot of information out there that somehow gets trafficked to all these little spam sites. Incogni puts a stop to that fast. They even have a custom removal feature. If you find your information exposed anywhere online, just copy and paste the link and they'll handle the heavy lifting to wipe it clean. So if you want to keep your private life private, head to this link or down in the description and use code BMSculptures for 60% off your annual plan. Thanks, Incogni. I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is when I cut into this piece of wood, it is absolutely beautiful. You could see the redwood lace, all the swirling patterns within this wood. The bad news is it's very wet. A piece of wood this big and this thick can take years upon years to dry. And even that probably won't dry the inside section of this piece of wood. So in order to help this, I picked up this commercial grade food warmer from Joey, the guy who I get most of my wood from. And Joey told me to put it in there at 120 degrees Fahrenheit and weigh it every day. Once it basically stops losing weight, it should be dry enough to carve. I'm already shocked. In 24 hours, it lost 1.7 pounds. That is insane. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I want to actually see how much 8.1 pounds of water is that came out of this log. Okay, my skill doesn't even go that high, but it's very close to this. It's probably another inch of water on this thing. That is insane. A lot of water. All right, let's get to carving this thing. I've been thinking a lot about the value of art while making this video, and here are my thoughts. I think I value the effort put into a piece just as much, if not more, than the aesthetic of the piece. Hear me out. And this may make a lot of fancy art people mad, but I would never pay a lot of money for a painting that looks like it could have been finished in only 30 minutes. I would much rather pay for a painting like this, where you can see the painter put in effort and took a lot of skill to accomplish this scene. Now take a look at this painting. This abstract painting sold last year at an auction for $118,000. Okay, sorry, I lied. Turns out, this is actually just a picture my 4-year-old drew, and I had AI put it into a frame. The crazy part is, I bet for a split second, you did believe this could have sold for $118,000. The abstract art scene is just a crazy one. Maybe I'm just not quite sophisticated enough to understand it. All I know is this: I price my artwork on the effort I put into the piece, the price and rarity of the material I use, and the overall aesthetic of the finished sculpture. And I hope by the end of this video I can show you guys why this piece is worthy of a $10K price tag. You may have noticed the yellow portion on this piece of wood. This is the sapwood, the outermost part of the tree, and I really want to try and keep it in this sculpture because I think the swirling patterns of red and yellow can make this thing look pretty cool in the end. Fire! We got a fire! Hold on! That was a close one. You also may have noticed the legs are way too short. From the start, I didn't have the height on the chunk of wood I needed, so I purposely gave it short legs because I knew I wanted to have a different wood species for the legs to have a different contrast of color to match the fox's darker legs. This is Wenge, one of the darkest wood species in the world, and I now have the challenge of trying to seamlessly glue them up on all 4 legs. This is going to be tough. This is by far going to be the hardest part of this entire sculpture. I'm going to be doing an inlay where it's almost an S curve. It's going to go under the chin and down, and I have to seamlessly try and match 2 pieces of wood perfectly on both sides. This is going to be tough. I could really use some help on trying to find a better way of doing this. If you guys have any suggestions, I am all ears. As of right now, I just made a little cardboard template, and I'm going to try and use it as my guide to match the maple with this curve. Hopefully, it works out. Wish me luck. There's gotta be a better way of doing this. I know there is. It's just probably something stupid I'm not thinking of. I know I just kind of breezed by it in the video, but this took me a tremendous amount of time, a full day's worth of work just getting these two pieces of wood to match up. Where are you at, Sam? Come on, let us know. How do you do it? We need to know. Alright, this is the moment of truth. Let's carve this thing down and see what this seam looks like. The seam line turned out so good that, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and add another inlay. I'm gonna do some Wenge for the nose of this box. I'm super happy with how these inlays are turning out, but now I need to face one of my biggest problems thus far. This cavity in the wood ended up perfectly in the center thigh on the right side. So I'm going to attempt matching an offcut of wood and patching this leg up. I've never done this before, and I could end up ruining the entire sculpture, but I really don't have any other options at this point, and this is the only thing I could see actually working. So let's give it a go. While this patch cures, I'm going to rough sand the entire sculpture. I'm not finished with the carving yet. I always just like to give it a rough sand first because then I could actually see areas that I need to rework and carve down more. It worked! I am a big patch guy now. Big patch guy. Big patch guy now. I'm not gonna lie, I impressed myself on this one. Sure, you can see a little thin glue line on the perimeter of this patch, but I actually like the way it looks. It kind of gives us a little interest point in that back thigh, a little kind of design element almost, and yeah, just super happy with how it turned out. The sculpture is complete, but now I have to make a pedestal for it. I purchased all these different types of stones, and I'm really leaning towards the larger gray one, but I also want to give my client one more option with wood. So I'm going to take some Bastogne Walnut and create a wedge-shaped pedestal to see what this fox looks like walking up an incline. This is a very terrifying cut for me. I've had all sorts of bandsaw issues in the past, and this cut right here needs to be absolutely perfect. Luckily, I changed the blade and I got lucky. This is a really clean looking cut. For me, there is no question what the best pedestal is. I absolutely love this Bastogne Walnut one. The wedge in the incline just elevate the fox's head and just puts him in a more graceful position. And I really just like the way it turned out. I ended up sending the client pictures of all the different pedestal options, and they ended up telling me they loved the brown stone because it matched the color of the wood better. I'm just kidding. They like the Bastogne Walnut. Let's go get this thing done. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys like it. And if you did, please consider subscribing. I spent around 3 weeks carving this fox sculpture, and I absolutely love the way it turned out. The client loves the way it turned out. But I want to know what you guys think about this. Is this sculpture worthy of a $10,000 price tag? Check it out. If you like this video, YouTube also thinks you're going to like one of these videos.